We all know who you are here to see today. Not me. And truly, this man needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. He is an Emmy Award winner for Outstanding Host of a reality competition program that just completed its 9th season. He was recently named one of Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People. And last week, it was announced that he will receive his very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So please help me give a warm welcome to RuPaul.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The library is open. And I bring my pocketbook wherever I go because I don't trust nobody. Plus, it is a fabulous little handbag here. It's really gorgeous. I'll just leave it right here for right now. Now, I want to say hello to everyone, and also everyone who is watching us around the world right now on Facebook Live. Hello, Facebook Live. I want to talk about a lot of stuff while we have the time here, but I just want to start. But I discovered this lecture series last year, May 1st. I think it was Earth Day. And I put my bike on the back of the car and drove downtown because I knew all the streets are going to be closed down so I could ride my bike all over downtown. Because, living in LA, I'm bi-curious, so I live in both New York and Los Angeles. I never get to do as much stuff in Los Angeles that I really want to, because it's such a fabulous city, but it's the traffic that drives me crazy. So whenever I have an opportunity to ride my bike somewhere or to, that's what I did downtown last year, May 1st, I was riding all over downtown. It was so fabulous. And I said, what's that building right there? Because it's so gorgeous. And of course, it's this building right here. And I walked around and looked around and, of course, found myself in here because Exene from the group X and her partner were doing a lecture, and I thought, this is fabulous, this is lovely. But I want to do more, I want to get out and do more things in Los Angeles. I work a lot. You better work. But I also like to do things, and that's really what this talk is all about. I'm going to give you some my backstory, but first I just want to start by talking about how I got to this spot right here. This spot right here. I'm from San Diego, which is really just a short distance from Los Angeles. For people who are watching around the world, it's only like 120, 110 miles from here. But it seemed like an eternity back then. But I just want to, last week, I was at a conference in Laguna Beach that my agency put on for, it's sort of a diversity conference, and they had all the heavy hitters from my agency. I'm at CAA, and the top, but they were all people of color. They were all African American. All right, for the African Americans. And Latin and Asian, and it was a great premise. But the interesting thing about it was that I still felt a little bit out of place, and I'll tell you why. Growing up, I always felt like the little boy who fell to earth, Like I never really, really fit in, not with black folks, not with white folks, not with gay folks, not with really anybody. And it's partially the reason I've been able to move forward and navigate through some of the cultural obstacles that we all face. Now, this conference, it was so funny because it was a diversity conference in Laguna Beach at the Montage. It was at the Montage Hotel, which is very Rosh-Hashanah, you know. It was really fabulous. But it was interesting because the premise was, how do we, as people of color, move forward in this landscape of oppression and of divisiveness, this climate we're in right now. So there were conferences all day, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to name any names, but they were all the heavy hitters. All the heavy hitters were there. But, you know, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, okay, if you really want to move forward, you have to really do an inventory of your stock. Like if you had a store, you have to do an inventory and say, you know what, this is expired, this doesn't work, this won't sell, it's never sold. You have to clear that stuff out so that you can move forward. And we did not have that discussion. You know, we touched on it here and there. And, you know, my responsibility, I was just an attendee. I got to introduce a few people here and there, but I didn't get a chance to bring that stuff up. And I wish I had. But knowing I was coming here, I thought I'd bring it up here. And specifically, even at my family reunions, I sort of stuck out. I really didn't sort of fit in. And I just want to say, some of the people at this conference, lovely people, they would look at me and I'd introduce myself, and I'm a sensitive boy. There was a pushback. They didn't know. And this is humans. They didn't know how to categorize me in their consciousness. You know, is it gay? You do the drag thing? Do you want to be a woman? And all of that. They couldn't do it, right? So I've always gotten that from people that don't know how to put me in a thing. And the truth is, why do you have to put me in a thing? Why can't I just be? You know what I mean? So it was interesting for me to be at this conference and with all this hope in my heart that we were going to push this thing forward, and it actually be the same old thing that it has always been. And I realize that it's because people have a hard time taking out the inventory that doesn't work in their lives, because you got to make room. You got to make room for it. So I know with black folks, and my own experience is black folks are actually very conservative. And if the ideology comes from, the church and from sort of a slave mentality, my folks from Louisiana, they were both country. It's hard for them to move forward, my folks. It was hard for them to even understand what I was talking about. So I found that even at this conference, the sort of slave Judeo-Christian storyline was the prevailing heaviness, the baggage. Not that it's a bad thing. There's room for it on the shelf, but you gotta update that stuff. And because I never felt really a part of that, it was easy for me to navigate around that in my life, right? So when I was at this conference, after the first day, I was actually a little depressed that we hadn't, as human beings, moved beyond. In fact, after the election, I was more depressed that we as humans had not moved past the same old shenanigans. It's like you're going to fall for this. I've seen this happen before, but people fall for it. Why do people fall for it? Because humans do nothing unless there's a payoff. There has to be a payoff. Judge Judy says it every day. Follow the money. That's what she says. Follow the money. What's the payoff? What keeps people locked into the same old inventory? What do they get out of it? Well, to take stuff down and deconstruct what's in your store, what's in your wheelhouse, it requires you to break down your belief system. You have to take everything out and put what works back in. In fact, I have a condo in West Hollywood that's devoted solely to my clothes. I do. It's just all clothes. And then what happens is, I go and I work on a job and I come back and everything gets put back. I go and work on a job and I work so much, a lot of times when I get back to the place, it is a mess. I don't know where anything is. And for the past week, I've been working, but for the past week, I know I've had to go in and itemize everything. And the reason I haven't done it is because I have an emotional attachment to every single thing. I say, I wore this when, and I go through that emotional thing every time. So it takes work. I understand why people have a hard time doing that inventory. And, this conference, ultimately, I had compassion for everybody there, but I want it to move forward. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my navigation through some of those things. When I was 15, I moved from I moved from San Diego to Atlanta, Georgia. I went to performing arts school. It was I felt like it was like my bar mitzvah, It was a completely different world for me. I got to recreate myself around people who didn't have the same expectations that the people in San Diego had. In fact, in San Diego, I always had to dumb down to fit in. I was watching Bewitched earlier today. And Bewitched is brilliant because the laugh track messes the show up, but because it's too much. But Bewitched is the story of an ethereal, ascended entity, smarter than anybody else in the room. And because of love, because of this little thing she's got going on, she's going to play dumb for a little while. And she gets into these situations because she has to play small. And I played small, and I related to that. And I think the reason that show is on today is because subconsciously we all recognize her as us. Each of us is a god or an ascended, incredible entity, and we play small. We're in drag in these human bodies, playing small. That's how I felt in San Diego. But when I moved to Atlanta, I got an opportunity to change, and I did. And I was around all of these incredible kids who like me, loved things outside of our immediate surroundings, right? I was around these kids who loved David Bowie and art, and we would experiment with hallucinogenics. Which, by the way, it's a great thing, not forever, but it's a great thing to expand your consciousness, right? And you can do it without it. It was just a great way to start, I do it to this day without it. And when I meditate in the morning, I get a bird's eye view. I go outside of myself, and I see myself, and I'm conscious of my consciousness. I become aware of being aware. And that's it. It's not rocket science. It's simple as that. So around these kids in Atlanta, Georgia, they helped me challenge some of the inventory I had in my wheelhouse. And I told this story actually on the reunion. I didn't mean for it to be in the show, but they put it in anyway, where my buddy, who I met when she was 19, Lady Bunny and I used to experiment with hallucinogenics. And she liked to push my limits. She liked to push everybody's limits. But once we were tripping, and she said to me, just like this. She said, "Rue, devil's gonna get you." Swear to God. Swear to God. Devil's gonna get you. And I was like, "Stop, don't do that. Stop that. You're freaking me out. Stop it." And she knew me, and I laughed and all that. But in challenging that, I was able to go, wait a minute, that's kind of a ridiculous concept of that something out here is gonna get me. And I was able to laugh about it and take that off the shelf. And so on and so forth throughout this period of my late teens, early 20s, I was taking things off the shelf left and right. In fact, when I got into drag the first time, drag was always just punk rock. It was what boys were not supposed to do. So we said, well, let's do it. It had nothing to do with, gender identity or anything. Well, I guess a little bit it did, but it had more to do with just pushing the boundaries, right? So we were doing what was called gender F-word drag, which is smeared lipstick and combat boots. And we're like, yeah, this is the early 80s, Reagan 80s. And it was a social commentary, of saying, I'm not going to fit into your blah, blah, So then, first time I got into drag was in a band, and the band, we did it to sort of mess with people's heads. And my combat boots and raggedy thrift store dress and raggedy wig and smeared lipstick. And the reaction I got from straight men was like, oh. It made me feel uncomfortable. I was like, oh, what? I had never had a man look at me like that before. I swear, I'd never had, and I was kind of freaked out, but I took note and I said, this might come in handy sometime. And it was an interesting thing. So I knew that once I moved to New York and I needed to make some money, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get up into drags, and I'm gonna shave my legs. I'm gonna put some socks up in a bra, which is, I hadn't done that before. It was always, I didn't shave anything. I was, it was Reagan, No. So once I did get into sort of it wasn't glamour drag then. My look then was black hooker, is what I was doing. Sort of like a Soul Train dancer, So it was, and you see pictures of me online. All this stuff is recorded online. You see it all. But in doing that, I had to take some stuff off the shelf because it felt weird, because it felt like I was doing drag for a different reason than the social commentary thing. So that was one, that took me a little bit of a minute to get past, because the idea of wearing breast and shaving my legs and actually trying to look more like a idealized version of a woman, that was weird. And that took some time on that shelf. That took some time of working through that. But I did. And one by one, I had to recalibrate my belief system. And that is why most people won't do it, because it is really difficult, because you really get to know who you are, what you're made of, where your limitations are, and who wants to do that. Usually no one wants to do that. But I tell you, that is the key to expanding your experience in this life. You want to talk about, who's a baller, who's got the real chutzpah. The people who are able to die 1,000 deaths and become reborn 1,000 times are the real shot callers in this life. Those are the people who are able to navigate around some of those self-imposed societal landmines that really get in the way. When I hit the big time years ago, we did TV shows and all this stuff, I would say to the kids from the old neighborhood, hey, you're so smart, you're so talented. Come with me. There's room for you at the writer's table or somewhere in the production. Just take my hand. Just take my hand. There's room for you. They couldn't do it. They could not make that leap above 14th Street from the Village in New York. They couldn't do it because it would mean they'd have to change their identity. They'd have to change their limited perception of themselves. They saw themselves as a starving artist or a East Village cool person or whatever, but they were not able to morph into the next level. And that's where people, in my experience, that's where people get hung up. You have to be willing to die 1,000 deaths and become reborn 1,000 times. Because the truth of the matter is that you are God in drag. You are the manifestation of the power that created the whole universe, playing small, like Samantha on Bewitched. And once you realize what you are capable of, how you're able to morph into whatever you want, really, that's the scary part. It's not, I think Marianne Williamson talks about this, it's not about being afraid of failing, it's more afraid of the possibilities of what you can do, you know? And that kid, those kids in East Village who I said, just take my hand, I've seen it time and time again. You see it on our show, actually. On Drag Race, there's, you know, I hope she doesn't see it, Nina Bonina Brown. I hope she don't come after me. But she, on our show, if you haven't seen it, Nina Bonina Brown is this very talented, gorgeous kid from Atlanta, Georgia, who always thought, she said, Ruth, these bitches are after me. They're after me. I'm like, they ain't studying you, girl. They're trying to do their own thing. And you could not tell her that they were not after her because that is how she motivated herself. And for her to not believe that anymore, she'd have to do that inventory, take some stuff off the shelf. She'd have to take a lot of stuff off the shelf. I've seen it myself, time and time again. That is why a daily practice, daily spiritual practice, the meditation where you can actually look at yourself and go, oh, yeah, that's me there. And I started over there, and I could pretty much see where this is. I can map out where this is going. And I could map out those obstacles that the same ones keep getting in my way. I know them. And that is the reason, I believe, in my opinion, that at this conference I went to, when I met certain people I looked up to, who were really, really smart, really, really creative. And I just assumed their experience was the same as mine, where they've done this, and they'd go, oh, yeah, uh-huh. Oh, that's that thing my parents, what's held my parents back right there. I thought they had done that same thing by going, move that, take that off the shelf. But they hadn't when it came to the gay thing, you know, or the drag thing. I know it's a hard one. I mean, you know, I went through that with my drag experience where I was shaving my chest. I thought, you're becoming a woman before my very eyes. It's weird initially. But once you get past it, you're like, it's nothing. And the truth, the devil, that's nothing. That's all, whatever. I tell you what is dangerous. I tell you what, the concept of a devil is actually the devil being out there looking to get you. Just like Nina Bonina Brown, the calls are coming from inside the house. That's dangerous. That's actually even more scary than something out there lurking that's going to try to get you. We've traced the calls, madam. They are coming from inside the house. Which is actually it's scarier. But it's scarier, but you have a better chance at knocking those things out when they come up. You know, in fact, I was telling a friend this yesterday. You know, yes, I've done the work, therapy, meditation, you know, the whole thing, whatever, I'll do it. But every morning I wake up, it's like my proverbial tail grows back, and I have to shave it down. I have to shave those old thoughts down. And that is what we're talking about. It's a daily practice. It's a daily practice. First of all, you start by giving yourself a break. When you're able to stand back, meditate, and see yourself, and you can see yourself as that little baby girl, little baby boy, you know where you came from, them crazy-ass country parents. You're able to give yourself a break and have compassion for yourself first. That's number one, compassion. Next, you look at it objectively and you understand how you began or how you started to think that way. Because it's thoughts. It's just thoughts. You know, you can't change the world, but you can change your mind. You can change your thoughts. And the practice of changing your thoughts starts with looking at that inventory. And as these things come up, you're able to push them to the side, take them off the shelf. That's the navigation, you know. That's the navigation. Actually, at this conference, I wanted to talk to these creative people. And I'm not going to name any names. Just know that they are the top of in this town, the tops. I wanted to run over and say, oh, hey, hi, how you doing? Oh, great, let's sit down and talk. Okay, what's going on with you? What are you doing? How did you do that? They weren't able to do that. I was getting, it wasn't necessarily shade. It was more of, they didn't know how to do with it. So their reaction was just sort of to, great. I was like, what? Yeah. It's weird, but it's cool. I get it. It's okay. Just not ready yet. But I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'm ready to do more. You know, when people talk about, you know, my career, you know, I climbed up on stage the first time for money. It was January of 1982. And I have been going ever since, and it's not always been easy. Like Mariah. It's not, no, it's not. It's not, nothing's, even if you do nothing on this planet, if you just sit there, it's not easy. It's never easy. So get that out of your mind. The work you do in this evolution, it's really all about the experience. It's the experience. Right, wrong, bad, good, it's just experience. There's no failing. You know, years ago, Alan Watts, the philosopher, became very popular again. He has this concept of, he said, what if before you go to bed at night, you got to choose what you would dream about? And you'd start off the first 2 months, you'd be like, oh, I want to be the king of the world. I want to be a princess, or I want to have $1 billion. I want a 10-inch candy bar. And then after 2 months, you'd be like, this is actually kind of boring. You know what? I want, dealer's choice. Make it random. Because in the morning, you knew that when you woke up, you'd be unchanged. Everything's fine. There's no death. You're fine. Boom. You're unchanged. Nothing can change you in this dream. And you would start doing this random thing. You would say, I don't care because I know I'm going to be unchanged. And then Alan Watts goes on to say, well, that's what this is. That's what you're doing right now. Do whatever you want, just so long as you don't hurt nobody else. Do whatever you want. You will be unchanged. So go above 14th Street. Do that inventory. Knock that stuff out. See what you are capable of. in these, I can't count, I think it's 35 years, 82, I don't know, 35 years maybe, something like that. I have had a lot of experiences. My mother tells the story that when she was pregnant with me, she went to see a psychic, and the psychic said, well, it's going to be a boy, and he's going to be famous. So I grew up knowing that, and I didn't know what I would be doing. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that's what I was going to do. The drag thing fell in my lap, and I thought, well, okay, I thought, in my mind, I was going to be the next David Bowie. And then when the drag thing happened, I thought, okay, but when I get serious, I'm going to have to go back and do my David Bowie thing. Then one year, I think it was 1990 or something like that, I was doing some club dates in Atlanta, and I was doing my sort of androgyny thing, not really drag, but just sort of, And after the show, a friend came over and said, yeah, well, that was fun, Rue, but when are you going to do your drag thing again? And it occurred to me in that moment, because the universe always has stage direction for you. If you're open, if you clear a place for it, the universe has stage direction for you. So this friend said, well, when are you going to do the drag thing again? In that moment, I got, what have I been knocking myself out? It's been right there all along. It's standing right in front of me. So I need to do the drag thing. And I swear to you, guys, as soon as I made that realization, it felt like these ancient doors were opening, went grrr. All these years of show business, of trying to do I'd made a breakthrough. The breakthrough didn't happen out here. Nina Bonina Brown. The breakthrough happened in here. It's an inside job. The key was me unlocking and clearing a path for my divinity, my frequency to come through. I had to clear a path for it. I had to clear out some of those old ideas. In my mind, I thought, where did I get the idea that I couldn't do it in drag? And I said, you know what? I'm done with my Black Hooker Soul Train dancer look. I am going to give these bitches glamazon. Yes. And the rest is history. It's history. Now, so that is my story. We're going to take some questions in a minute, but I think Wendy said, we don't want comments. We want questions. We want to engage in a conversation. We want some questions. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about the questions you want to ask. But just do remember what we talked about today when you go home and how that applies to you. Not everybody is going to be a drag queen, but kind of, in a way. I always say you're born naked and the rest is drag. But not everybody has these legs. No, that's not. The truth is, everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. It's up to you to figure out what it is. Your job is to clear a path for it. Clear a path. And that's going to involve doing an inventory. And that's the big message here. All right, so we're going to take some questions from the audience. You got your microphone?
Let's see, is it on? Yes, I have my
it's on.
microphone.
All right, so who's got a question? Here's a man back here.
Okay, let me
Get
run.
it, Wendy. Go on,
Let me
girl.
run over.
Get it. Get it, girl. What's your name and where are you from?
Thank you, Wendy. My name is Patton, and I'm from St.
Wait a
Louis,
minute.
Missouri.
Your name is Patton?
Yes.
Like patent leather?
Spelled like General Patton.
Okay, yeah, General Patton, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're from St. Louis?
Yes, I was born
That's
there.
in St. Louis, it's rough there, isn't it?
Well, I left when I was 5, so I have no idea.
Okay, yeah. But you live here now.
But I live here now.
And what brought you out here? You became, are you a porn star?
I wish. No, just kidding.
No, I'm asking, what do you do out here?
Good question. I literally just work at a studio. I work at SoulCycle. It's a good time.
You work at a studio. What you mean?
I work at Adaptive Studios. I don't know if people.
Doctors?
Adaptive Studios. It's a film producing company.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Maybe he might give me a job. You know?
Come on down. I would love
Always
to.
looking.
Absolutely. Well, I guess my question is, I consider you someone who's kind of perfected the balance of logic and spirituality. So just curious as how you found that balance.
It's a great question because it's all about balance. Everything in this world, we have black, white, yin, yang, male, female. It's all about these polar opposites and finding that balance. And the balance has to do with being able to center yourself through a spiritual practice, meditation. I'm not religious. But I pray every morning. And I'll tell you why. Prayer, the act of saying, "Dear God, thank you," is a way to deactivate the ego so that your ego says, "You better sit your ass down, bitch." And it's because it doesn't begin with you. There is a force out there. It doesn't matter what you pray to, as long as you bow down to a power greater than yourself, it will work. You don't have to be religious, but if you that act of bowing to a power greater than yourself, that's a great start. The second part of that is through meditation, you open up your vessel and allow the information to just come through you with no judgment. I equate it to sitting on the banks of a river and watching the water just go by. You're just sitting on the bank, just what? And the river, the water, those are your thoughts. No judgment. Just look at them. That place, that is where you find your center. All the spiritual, I didn't come up with any of this stuff, but the spiritual masters will tell you that the real you is the awareness of your thoughts. The real you is the awareness of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are sitting on the banks watching them, no judgment. And that piece, that's how you recalibrate and center yourself. So that's how it's done. All right. We're going to take another question here. Oh, Wendy, there's one in the back, way back there.
Yeah.
Oh, get it, girl. Get it, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Lou.
Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
I'm David, and I'm from New York originally, but I've been out here about 3 years.
Where in New York? You from Long Island?
No, I'm not. I'm from
the Brazonks?
No,
Are you from
my
the
dad
Boogie
is.
Down?
No, I'm Westchester
Okay.
County, technically upstate, I guess, a little bit.
Where? I'm sorry.
Westchester County.
What county?
Westchester County,
Oh,
New Rochelle.
Westchester.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I wanted to know, since we're in a library, I figured I'd ask, what's one book that you think everyone should read?
Oh, that's a great question. I love A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. It is a fabulous book. And, I'm from San Diego. I'm born in 1960, and part of my domestication has been, self-help and being a seeker. And so that book really put things in a great perspective for me. And then, the Eckhart Tolle book, A New Earth, is also a great book. He also wrote The Power of Now. But I feel like with A New Earth, he took the information from A Power of Now, which is kind of abstract, and he simplified it in A New Earth. And it is fabulous. In fact, when I go to bed, I've always been an insomniac, and every night when I go to bed, it's actually on my iPhone, I have his books on audio, and I just listen to them every night. Because if you are an insomniac, the way you shut the brain down, because, the river and the banks of... is you engage it in an audio book. It allows your brain to focus on what's being said, and then the rest of your sort of thought sphincter is... Yes, I did say thought sphincter. Can relax and go to sleep. So those two books, yes.
Thank you.
And then we had one over here. And lady with the microphone, what's your name? Diane, I love that name. Is it on, Russell?
Peru.
There it is. Hi,
Hi,
what's your
Omar.
name and where are you from?
Daniel. I'm from Southeast LA.
Southeast LA. Does Southeast LA have a name?
Cudahy? It's a really small
Oh,
city.
Cudahy? Oh, I've seen that on exit signs and things. Cudahy. Yeah.
It's a gateway city, so it's surrounded by Southgate, Bell Gardens.
Oh, yeah. Because my father used to live in Cerritos. Is that near?
Down the freeway.
It's just a little bit. How far? How many miles?
Maybe like 5 or 10.
10 miles. I got to tell you, when I was 11 years old, we would come up to stay with my father at his place in Cerritos, and he'd go to work at Best Foods. They made Skippy peanut butter and all that. He would go to work, and he was stupid enough to leave his 1969 Toyota keys in a drawer, and I knew where those keys were. 11 years old, Cerritos. And this is 1972, and my sister Rozzy is 10 years, I mean, at the time, she's 1 year younger than me. Don't you know, I got in that car, and I was riding all over that neighborhood, but I would only make right turns, because I was too afraid to make a left turn. 11 years old. I love cars. I've always loved cars, and I was driving at that early age. And could you imagine being stopped at a stoplight, looking over? Oh my God. Anyway, yes, Cudahy. So, you're Daniel, right? What's your question?
So I know the show's been really popular lately, and you're like having so much success. I know you've said in the past that you never thought drag would go mainstream, and I wanted to know if your opinion of that has changed.
No, and that's a good question. It will not go mainstream for the same reason we talked about earlier, which is drag. To be able to do drag, you have to be willing to remove yourself from your own identity. And we live in an egocentric culture where identity is everything. You know, what it says you are on your driver's license, darn it, you're going to stick with that, and it's going to be it forever and ever and ever. Drag says about identity, it's like, Drag says, I don't care. I'll do whatever. What's brilliant about drag is it is actually the truth of who we really are, which is we're all shapeshifters. We're all Samantha Stevens on Bewitched. When, tinkle, 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 tinkle. We we change. And so for that to be mainstream would mean that everybody would have to be open to being a shapeshifter and really accepting who you really, really are. You're God in drag. You are God experiencing humanity. Just like in that dream. It's only just real quick. It's real quick. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take life too, operative word here is too seriously. Have fun, Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. That's what drag is, and for everybody to be able to get that, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It's like Lady Bunny saying, "Devil's gonna get you," and first I was like, "Stop that!" But then I realized, oh, it is all kind of a joke, isn't it? Let me just say this one thing too. For us sweet, sensitive souls, and that's all of you, really, and all the people listening around the world right now, there are different levels or stages of recognition in your life. Initially, for us sweet, sensitive souls, we realize that this whole thing is a hoax. It's a hoax. And initially, we get very angry. So we start this anger by just feeling like we've been duped. That's stage one. And then we become cynical and saying, this is all a joke, Then the irreverence comes in, where we're able to make fun of it, and like, oh yeah, that and $5 will get me to Tijuana, that cynicism. But I don't know where that came from. I don't know. It just came up. But the next stage, which is the most important stage of this development, and most people don't get there. Most people stay in the cynicism and the bitterness. The next stage is that drag stage that I'm talking about, which is don't take it all so seriously. Have fun with it. It'll be over before you know it. And in that time that you have on this planet, have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Don't get stuck in the cynicism. It's an important part of these stages, but most people get stuck in the bitterness and the cynicism. They don't get to this next level, which is, hoo-hoo, have fun. It's all great. Don't take it so seriously. You know, and I've said this on my Twitter feed all the time. I say, you know, don't forget, having a fat ass is a good thing. If you got a fat ass, you are my friend. I wish I had, I have to put padding on. No couch is safe around me. I have to, it's all padding. I don't have one. I wish I could, hey. But it's that fun. Don't forget the fun part of this experience. And now, listen, it's your prerogative if you want to take everything seriously and be like, oh my God, it's horrible. You can, it's up to you, but I'm telling you, if you want to navigate and you want to get a lot of stuff done and you really want to, don't take it so seriously. It's nothing, it's not personal. It's not personal, it's like that. So that's why drag has a hard time. I would love for it to go mainstream. It just won't, because it would require people to take that next stage, that next level. And most people, like my friends in the East Village, they were like, their identity was tied to being, whether it was a victim or being a starving artist or struggling or, it's like, bitch, I want to, that's why I went to that conference. I'm like, okay, hey, look, there's so-and-so. Okay, let's have some, but they were stuck in this other thing. And I'm like, aw, man. You know what I'm saying? Let the church say amen. That is what we're talking about, that navigation, and that's why I think drag is so important. We have time for a few questions. She not already in her hair hurts. Right there, that girl right there. There she is. All right. Yeah. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm from Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
So I want to mention first that my mom she's a mental health counselor for LGBT youth and elders, so transitioning people older and things like that. So she really loves you. She loves your community, and it's made me and her get a lot closer watching Drag Race and stuff. And we both sit down and we watch all these talented performers, and we see them come and go, over 100 of them. How do you deal with mentoring so many different people, and what kind of advice do you think you need to give everyone?
That's a very good question, and God bless your mother for, being, we need more sweet people who are willing to be of service to other people. It's so interesting in our culture. We've become this culture of, we're beyond the me generation. Everybody is thinking, they're living in their own world. So when I hear about someone who is being of service to other people, that is such a great thing. In fact, the key to happiness on this planet is being of service to other people. When I describe the river and sitting on the banks, when you're able to get outside of your own head, it's like Nina Bonina Brown all over again. When you're able to get outside of your own head and actually be selfless enough to help someone else, that is the key to happiness. If you don't already know it, that is the key to happiness. So in mentoring other people, the truth is, selfishly, I start with my own heart. I start with what do I want? And I am a sweet person. I'm a sweet person. I can say it. I am. And I want, I start with my own heart, and I want to have fun. And if there's somebody else, let's have fun together. If you listen to my podcast, you know that I always want to play dirty charades with people. But nobody wants to play. I always want, I love charades, but once you get to dirty charades, it's a whole new game. And I'm just going to explain real quick exactly what that is. It's the same as you make up titles, like, Musical, yes, okay. So what you do is, and I know this is but we're around. I'm not going to get too dirty, but you take a book title, say a book title, and you just change one word to make it dirty, right? And the book doesn't have to exist. It's just or a movie, So like say The Red Badge of Courage, It's one of my favorites. I'm wondering, Wendy, do you have that book here? Yeah.
Kind of don't think so.
No, you don't think so. What about A Tale of Two Titties?
Gosh, no, not that one either.
All right. But I like to have fun with people. So on our show with the girls and the experience, I love to have fun, and I'm always looking for people to play. And again, it's like those stages of evolution with don't take life too seriously. The irreverence, a twist of a phrase, portmanteau. My favorite word in the world. I'm almost 57 years old. I've heard lots of words. My favorite word in the world, ladies and gentlemen, is a portmanteau. Here it is, Mexicatescent. Mexicatescent. While I'm talking to you, in my head, I'm going to be saying it over and over again because I love that word so much, Mexicatescent. Is that the most brilliant word in the world? And Daniel explains the whole twist of a phrase, having fun. It's all wrapped up in Mexicatescent. And I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we have a little bit more time. There's a man right there. How about him right there? He raised his hand very high, very enthusiastically. And what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, I'm Jason, and I'm from North Carolina originally.
You're North Carolina, Fayetteville?
Ooh, right outside of Charlotte and Kannapolis.
Called what?
Kannapolis with a K.
Kannapolis. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you talk about the inner saboteur, which I totally relate with, and I have learned to come to a place with myself. But what about those people in your life who help sort of create that person and that inner saboteur, like your family or those people trying to come to peace with, even if you're able to sort of realize it, stare it in the face, watch the river passing by, how do you react to those people in your life who sort of helped add to that, help create that?
I hate to say it, you got to get away from them people.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just, and that's the answer. The truth is, there are those people, and they feed off of your self-doubt and off of you have to stick with the winners. Stick with the winners. And they may be family members, and that's, you can love somebody. You don't have to go on vacation with them. I love you, but we ain't going on vacation. And it's a hard, cold fact, but you get to a certain age and you realize you can't change them. I've heard of energy vampires and all that stuff. You stick with the winners. I live too short for that kind of stuff. It really is. And you're going to try to change them. When the election, I equated it to, I think I love Judge Judy. On Judge Judy, every week, there is a woman on there who's suing her ex-boyfriend because she gave him $2,000 after he got out of jail because he was in arrears for child support. Okay, you know what? Judge Judy said, okay, wait a minute, let me break it down for you, girl. All the signs are there. He just got out of prison. His own kids, he was in, he wouldn't, and he ain't got a job. How you gonna pay $2,000? He ain't got a job. So, and then Judge Judy says, because you had this picture postcard of what a family looks like. You were willing to take whatever you could get your hands on because you were so married to this picture postcard of what you thought your life should look like. You know what I mean? And that's what this election felt like because, I knew that he ain't no good, girl. But, what's happened is these people want this picture postcard of, we want it to be like it was before. But the truth is, what this thing has really been about is nature, the universe is clearing out certain people who are not useful. You have to be useful to the universe. You have to make yourself useful to the universe. Otherwise, you will be phased out. Now, this was an opportunity for them to have this picture postcard thing of, are we going to have it the way it was before? Well, time does not go back, girl. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you find a lot of people, and anyway, so that's, I'm sorry, went off on a tangent there, but yeah. All right, so Wendy, we have time for a few more questions. Are you ready? You got your running shoes on, girl? Diane, are you ready? Okay, so where we want to go? Let's go over to this side of the room over here. There's this lady right there. Diane, right there. She got there, yeah. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name's Tosca.
What is it?
Tosca.
Tosca?
Yes.
Tosca, like there was a dance artist a few years ago called Tosca, right?
There's been like a pop something, and it's an opera.
There's the opera! Yes, that's it. And where are you from?
Originally the UK, but I've lived here for 12 years.
From the UK?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's your English accent?
Here, it's right here. I'm from Bromsgrove, England. Originally, I lived there till I was 15.
All right, what's your question?
What is your favorite place you've been to in the world, like what you might call your happy place?
Wow, I have four. My favorite places are San Francisco, Vancouver, Rio, and Sydney, Australia. Those are my favorites. I've been married to an Australian for many years. Actually, we've only been married. We got married this year, but we've been together for many years. Yeah. And he's from Perth, Australia, and the most remote place, remote city in the world. Anybody been to Perth, Australia before? Well, there you have it. It's very remote, very remote. Thank you, Tosca. Where are you? How about one for you, Wendy? Hey, there's a man in front of you right there.
See that?
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you from?
Carl from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. That's another beautiful city. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati, Ohio. And what brings you out? Are you a porn star?
Not yet.
Not yet, right?
Finishing my dissertation on RuPaul's Drag Race at UCLA.
So, and then, so you're doing it now?
Yes.
You're doing your dissertation. I love the word dissertation. It's Mexican and then dissertation. And so, what have you learned about? Oh, I'm sorry. You have a question.
I'd love to know, what would you say to Donald Trump's inner saboteur?
Well, that's good. What you realize about certain people, and he is a classic narcissistic personality disorder. So there's no getting through to that, and that's what's so interesting about the woman on Judge Judy, is that those people they will wake up, and it is going to be, talk about breaking down and deconstructing a belief system, because when that fantasy, when their eyes and their vision is clear, that is going to be a real, it's going to be a disaster. But what's the most positive thing about that is that when a butterfly turns into a butterfly from a cocoon, it's a very violent transformation. It's a very violent transformation before it turns into that butterfly. And what we're experiencing right now is that violence right now, this divisiveness and this sort of uncomfortable period. And it will probably become even more uncomfortable. But the butterfly will Mariah. Actually, George and I are going to see Mariah, in Vegas on the 7th, somewhere after the 4th of July. We're going to go see Mariah in Las Vegas. So it's going to be a lip sync extravaganza. I don't care. I'll see it. I don't care. I don't care as long as I can see her. I don't care. We haven't done anything over here. Diane, get it, girl. Come on, girl. Here he is, right here.
Hi, Mama Ru.
Hi.
What's
your name? Where are you from?
My name's Victor Yates. I'm from
Victor Yates.
Yes.
I have a radio background, so I slow everything down so that people can hear it. You see? And where are you from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, that's where the Metro. I used to work at the Club Metro there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. It's years ago, really good club. A mixture of people. I love a mixture of people, you know?
Yeah.
There was straight, gay, black, white. Everybody who went to the Metro.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
All right. Hey.
Yeah.
What's your question?
I know from watching RuPaul's Drag Race, I know that gay history is extremely important to you.
I love that you put that extra T on the end. Important.
And you reference Paris is Burning a lot, and there are generations alive that there are people alive who haven't watched that movie. Can you recommend maybe 5 movies or books for individuals who need to learn gay history?
That's a great, great question. We try on our show to mentor and curate our culture to young people around the world. You know, our show comes on all over the world, and if it's not on a network, it's on Netflix, or kids can download it on iTunes, and they're getting the whole story there. And so, you know, when I was coming up, you know, I had mentors who taught me about Tennessee Williams and Truman Capote and Tallulah Bankhead and Fellini films, everything, and John Waters. They told me about who we are and what culture I need to pay attention to. So we do that on our show, and I always start with. I'll just tell you what my favorite movies are, because they're all these things. Number 1 is The Wizard of Oz, and I tell you why. Because it's a parable. It is what we're doing. You talked about the Alan Watts storyline of dreaming, and that movie is what we're doing here. My favorite. I get very when I talk about it, because when she goes into the poppy fields, which is sort of symbolic of drugs, when a person, and the one friend is saying, "Come on, wake up, remember, come on, remember we were going that way." And she said, "I just want to sleep." If you watch that movie, it has so much knowledge in there. And then when she says to the scarecrow, she says, "I'm gonna miss you all," and she whispers in his ear. She whispers in his ear. She says, and I'm paraphrasing. She says, "I think I'm gonna miss you the most," and and if you've lived on this planet long enough, you will experience that. You will experience friends that will go away. You'll lose them forever, and you know it's going to be the last time you see them, you know? And it's heartbreaking, but don't be afraid of the emotions. Don't be afraid of feelings. You get in there and you say to them, "I think I'm going to miss you the most." You don't be afraid to say it. Don't be afraid to live this life. So even the most important thing is, she says to the good witch, "Why did you tell me all I had to do was click my heels 3 times? Why did you tell me?" She says, "Because, girl," "because you would not have believed me. You had to go all in here, because your ass is hard-headed." And you go all over here, and then finally get back here to know that you had it with you the whole time. You had to discover it. So, Wizard of Oz, Grease is my second favorite movie of all time. I could watch it right now. I swear, I love it so much. Auntie Mame is a great movie for kids. The Rosalind Russell one, it's a great movie for kids to understand, young people to understand that this is up to you. Life is a banquet, and most poor sons of bitches are starving to death. Get out there and you eat. Roll up your sleeves, and you get in there and you feast on life. Of course, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Because of the irreverence, and we were talking about, you know, that next level where you don't take life too seriously. You know, that movie is filled with that kind of irreverence and that kind of joy and wordplay, and it's so smart. I can watch that all the time. And of course, Paris is Burning, which is brilliant because here are these kids coming from these crazy backgrounds where the future is very bleak for them, but they've created a world where they can, like Lotus in the Mud, where they can come up and shine and be the God self that is in all of us. And it's a tragic story, but it's also a beautiful story. So those are my top 5. Was that 5? I can name others, you know. You know, Mommy Dearest is brilliant. So, all right, so how much time do we have?
I think we have time for about one more question.
One more question. Okay. So, who has a good question? Who's going to challenge me with some knowledge? So, Diane, Wendy, which one of you is going to be?
This gentleman right here.
Okay. All right.
Don't die, Wendy.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm JP Karliak. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
JP what?
Karliak.
Karliak. That's beautiful.
It's Czech.
It's Czechoslovakian.
Yeah.
JP Karliak. That's
Yeah.
a showbiz name. I love that.
I am in the showbiz.
You are. And you're from Scranton,
Scranton, yeah.
Pennsylvania. Now, how far is that from Trenton?
That's New Jersey. That's about an hour-ish and a half.
Because I was going to ask you about Dance Party USA. Did you watch that show? You know Dance Party USA?
I'm familiar, yes.
Wait,
yeah.
you're doing like this. What? Wait, okay. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but I am familiar with the concept of it, yes.
Yeah, because it was like an American Bandstand type show for that area, and it was so trashy and so good. so good. I swear to you right now, I have a DVD of it in my bag right now. I swear, I have it right here. There's Dance Party USA. I have jazz, and there's Coltrane, there's Thelonious Monk, there's Murder, She Wrote right there. I live for her. Elton John, Sergio Miles Davis, Sergio Mendes, and Dancing on Air reruns. Dance Party USA, right there. Dance Party USA. I love it. Anyway, JP. What is your question?
So I love on the show when in the last episode you show the final queens the photo of themselves as a child, and you ask them what they would say to that child.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard you answer that question before, but what I would love to know is what would you say to the RuPaul just releasing Supermodel?
I'm going to answer your question in Czechoslovakian.
Hit me.
Just releasing Supermodel. You know, I got to tell you, because of what the psychic had told my mother, I knew what was ahead of me. In fact, before my mother went to Paris, we had that moment because there was a report with Kurt Loder on MTV where I'd done something, blah, 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 and it was actually in San Diego. She was literally on her deathbed at the time, and we were waiting for this thing to come up, and it appeared, this news story on MTV, and she looked over at me, and you can bleep this out. She looked over at me, she says, "Nigga, you are crazy." True story. And I knew the thing was about to happen, and I was so happy that she got to see the beginning of it. She got to see the very beginning of it, and then she moved on. But I would say to I would say to that Rue, because just a few short years before that, man, I was at my Saturn Returns at 28. I was sleeping on my baby sister's couch in Los Angeles, no car, with not a dime. And when I say not a dime to my name, how much money am I talking about? A zero. It was so, and Saturn went to, life in 7, 14, 21, 28 is a big one. And it was horrible. So just a few short years before the supermodel thing happened, I was on the ball of my black ass. And anyway, so when supermodel happened, I knew this was the beginning. So what would I say to that, Rue? I would say, number one, save your money. And which I'm not crazy with, whatever. And I'm not crazy with money. And then what else would I say? Remember who you are. Remember that this is a gift. This life is a gift. Don't take it too seriously. Have fun with it, and smile. Smile and have fun. That's what I would say. That's what I would say, JP. Thank you so much. You guys have been lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy.
You're so welcome.
Lovely.
I don't know if this microphone's on.
It is. It is.
it?
Yes. You guys. Oh, that's very sweet.
Thank you for being a great audience.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at this. Here, help me open it up.
Be sure to look around the library. It's a beautiful place. On the second floor, there's the rotunda. Don't miss that. So thank you so much for coming. And Rue, thank you.
No, you're fine. Don't break my fan now. Oh, that's lovely. That's very sweet. I'll see you all next time. Thank you. Be sweet to people, okay? Give love to somebody today.
Thank you, Rue.